Welcome back, everyone. Today we will be continuing our journey through Pillars of Eternity Part 1. We are playing as a wizard on Path of the Damned difficulty. Alright, so
Not a
we are
problem.
currently in Deerwood and we have a few side quests to complete here. So let's just get on to it. Alright, this is a really good quest, Redrick's Hole, but I do not suggest you do it at such a low level. We are at around level 4. And if we go to Redrick's Hole now, we will get our asses kicked. There is a very difficult fight at the end of the quest. I suggest you wait until around level at least 7 or 8 once we have reached Defiance Bay and did a couple of faction quests and got some good gear and a couple more levels. We can come back and do Redrick's Hold, but If you want to go do Redrix Hold right now at level 4, when you get this quest, you will have a very miserable time of it. It's a very difficult quest. Okay. So I believe last session we have explored Magnus Fork and Black Meadow. So let's just do Easternwood, and there are a couple of quests at Madmer Bridge and Anslow Compass. Once we complete all the quests, we can move on to Cadnoa. But let's clear these three areas so that we will gain. I believe we can reach level 5. We'll see. We'll see.
Nothing will slip past me. I'll go on ahead.
I really hate having to sneak everywhere in this game because there are a lot of good hidden places you just cannot find unless you're in scouting mode. Just drags this game. Dreadfire greatly improved on this because you no longer need to sneak everywhere to find hidden items in Dreadfire. It's based on your perception and that's it. Alright. Why am I auto casting spells? Ooh, no. Okay. So whenever fighting any enemy labeled as vessel, okay, try to send your priest a bit further and try to hit them all with the holy radiance because it will do like a very decent amount of burn damage.
Ready when you are.
If you yourself are a priest, this will do a lot of damage because your holy radiance scales a lot more than Durance's.
Not a problem.
Okay, my game seems to stutter a bit. Let me see if reloading fixes the issue.
Not a problem. Keeping an eye out.
Okay, fine crossbow. Sorry. Let's see, it could be better than. No, I will stick with warbow. Because crossbows have a very long reload time.
You might find this
I'm not a fan
interesting.
of crossbows or guns in this game. They have very long reload time, but by ranger, we don't have a ranger right now. We'll keep it for future.
Laying low. You can trust me. You better run! And what does the flame reveal? Nice and quiet.
Death to our enemies!
Okay, somebody just leveled up. Not sure who.
Yeah?
Okay, this spear spider, the big ones, are kind of dangerous because they have very very high damage.
Ready
They
when
do
you
a
are.
lot of pierce damage, so it's go. It would be nice if we blind them so that they will
Ah,
graze.
thank word!
If you see here, let's see, spear spider. Just a graze alone does 16 pierce damage from a spear spider, and it can hit easily for 30 damage on a hit, and if it crits, it can take off half your health easily. Okay, so that's why when fighting spear spiders, at least at low levels, make sure your priest casts Armor of Faith on your front line. This will give better armor, and it will keep your
Ready when
front
you are.
line alive a few more minutes. And it will be nice if we can blind them. They luckily do not have that big of a fortitude or will, so you can easily hit them with either Chill Fog or Curse of Black and Sight. It doesn't matter, both will easily blind them. But if you leave them alone, they will tear your front line apart unless...
That's it! Ready when you are.
Let's look at the kind of damage they did to Eder. Your spider hits for 23 damage. And they have armor penetration, I believe. If you see, Aether has 15 damage resistance, but they ignored all 15 and did full damage. This is why spear spiderlings are very dangerous at low level. They do a lot of pierce damage and they penetrate armor. They have 15 points of armor penetration. So after buffing Aether with Armor of the Fate spell, Aether still took full damage. Right.
Not a problem.
Light,
It's just...
flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves. What?
Right, let's bring our priest in. That's it. Priests are really good at dealing with vessels, especially at low to high level, because they can do a lot of burn damage to enemies. For example, here if you see, right, on a crate it did 64 points of burn damage over 5 seconds. On a hit it's 50 points of burn damage. This is a lot of damage at low levels. At high and by end game this will not matter much,
Flame, and
because
sound.
some of the high level vessels, like kind of those death guard kind of things that you fight, they are actually immune to burn damage. So Holy Radiance doesn't really work much on them, at least when it comes to damage. But early to mid game, Holy Radiance is a really good way to just nuke vessels, and it's once per encounter, so you can spam it every time you fight a vessel. And we have a stag here. Let's just attack it just so that I can fill up its bestiary and get the experience. Okay. And
Just say the word.
let's paralyze this guy. Okay, interdiction hit, so he should be weakened. Why is he not weakened? He should be weakened for 12 seconds. Why did it not get applied? Okay.
Pegworth and rock! That's it!
Why did weaken not get applied, or stats immune to weakened? It shouldn't be. Where is it? Where is it? Oh. Okay. Right, this is done.
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places.
Ready when you are. Just giving them a fair shot.
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places. Looks like Andra's gushing enough for both.
You might find this interesting.
Oh, nice Eldritch. Sorry. That. Okay, let's go find Paragon's missing cargo.
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places.
Death to our enemies! Death to our enemies! Not a problem.
Okay, this here is a kind of an interesting quest because there is no clear good or bad side to this. So these guys are kind of like refugees who had everything destroyed in storm. So helping them might look like the good option, but again, the two guys on the way, her cousins, they attacked us on sight, kind of like bandits do. So that doesn't really look, that's not something someone who is just, trying to get by does. That's so they are just standing there attacking everybody that just comes along, and now Hanwen here wants to feed us a sob story. I never really liked Hanwen much. It doesn't really impact much on the world. Maybe you will get some minor disposition or something. The main difference is if you side with Hanwen, she gives you her cap, which is actually very good because it gives some immunities and some bonus to intellect, which is really good. But if you don't side with Hanwen, you will have to kill them and recover the cargo and give it to Peregrine, which is actually a better option just from mechanical perspective, because then Peregrine will start giving you discount on her base. She is a merchant in Defense Bay, so in Act 2 when we actually reach Defense Bay, we can find her in the market district and she will give us discount on her goods, and she has some really good gear to sell, especially a war bow, which will be very useful for either a ranger or a rogue, someone with very high accuracy. And she has some other good stuff as well. So mechanic, and also you can get the hat from Hanwen by killing her and simply looting her body. So role playing wise, do whatever your character feels like doing, but pure mechanical, if you look at pure mechanics and what is the most profitable is to kill the refugees and help Peregrine. That way you can get the hat and you can get the discount as well. That's what I normally do. But we're trying to play a benevolent character here, and I want to raise the disposition.
What?
Alright, let's do some spell casting. Let's start with Armor of Faith.
How may I
As
help?
always, you cast Chill Fog, And you cast Slicken to make everybody sleep.
Thank you.
Nice, nice, nice. And now
Where's that rough? Ready when you are.
alright, let's kill him. Either you come and stand here. We don't want you running into chill folks. And here is it. +2 immune intellect and immunity to confuse. This is actually very good hat. I suggest you give this to your priest, because priests will eventually get spells that will make your party immune to confused. But if the priest himself gets confused at the start of the combat, then you will not be able to catch that spell, and it's better to give this immunity to priest whenever you find any item that's like immunity to priest, immunity to dominated or charmed. I suggest you give these to your priest so that he will not be affected by status effects, and he can cast these spells to make the rest of the party immune. And +2 intellect is actually very good. Intellect is one of the main skills of a priest, so +2 intellect is awesome for a priest. This is something I normally have on my priest for until maybe not at end game, but I will have this as the headgear for Durance for a very long time. Okay. It's a really good headpiece for a priest.
Not a problem.
Where is that cargo? I think one bug here, because even though you are supposed to collect the cargo, it still shows as stealing. I don't know why, it's weird. You will get some minor negative disposition, but you can, by the end of the game, we will have very high disposition with every area in this game. Unless you're really trying to do a evil playthrough, you can easily rise your disposition across all major cities, major towns. So this is really not that big of a deal, this minus and negative.
Margren's fire casts light in dark places.
I'll see what I can find.
Ooh. Okay, this guy I have to kill him as fast as possible because he can paralyze other and just
You better run!
do a lot of damage. One Zorib skirmisher is not a big deal, but when you're fighting a whole bunch of Zoribs and there are a couple of skirmishers in there, that's really bad because you'll be constantly getting paralyzed and it just sucks. Okay, we have more trolls here. You cast blessing.
Hi?
What will we have him do?
Mow it.
These guys have high fortitude, so let's lower their will and hit them with Curse of Blackened Side.
say
If
the
we're
word.
lucky, we will crit. Right, 19 will. We are definitely going to crit unless we get really shitty rolls.
Thank Worth and Rock!
Did we crit? Yep, we crit at least one of them. So 42 seconds, the other one is 28, not bad. Which is 28? This is 28, so let's finish him off first.
Yes?
What can you do? You can cast this. Just throw this.
Yeah?
And we will use our scroll on this guy.
That's it! Lavaru, be on.
You can come here and cast Divine. Divine Mark is actually really good. Combining this on top of, he already has 27 deflection because of his blind. So combining Divine Mark and crits, and he gets further minus 25, which is nice.
Ready when you are. That's how it's
Oh.
done!
So Divine Mark doesn't stack with blindness, that sucks. Not sure it will, but
That's it! You better run! This fight is mine!
still blinded. Okay, let's throw a chill fog here,
Yes?
and you. Okay, let's get you here.
Thank Worth and Rock!
Throw a fan of flame. They are blinded, so we will hit them. Okay, one crate, one graze. Okay, it's whatever.
This fight is mine!
Ooh, he's attacking it.
I?
Where is it? Okay,
How may I help?
get out of there, get out of there.
This fight is mine!
Shit.
That's how it's done!
This should continuously interrupt him. Yup, he is just going to stand there twitching. What's a way that can...
Ready when you are. Lavaru beyond sea.
Not much. We grazed him, so it's not going to last long, but
You better run! I meant to do that.
this is taking too much time.
Curses! You're mine!
What the hell? Why is it taking this much time to kill him?
Breath Uligna.
You know what? Screw
How may I
this.
help?
I'm just going to cast one more spell. This fortitude will.
Ready when you are. Bang!
This guy is trolling me. I wasted a spell.
Not a problem.
Just as I conjured my weapon, he died. Okay. That's the
Quick and
waste of a
quiet.
first level spell. The priest.
Hmm?
How may I help?
Yeah?
I?
Ready when you are.
Thekworth and Roth!
Ooh, he has really high fortitude. I did not expect that from a priest.
Death to our enemies! Ready when you are.
Yes? Lavaru beyond seek!
Uh, 22%. That's bad. Yes, I'll take the chance. Let's try if we can hit
Thekworth and
it.
Roth!
You death to our enemies! Not a problem.
Okay, we are completed with this. I believe I saw a camping supply here. Yeah. Let's camp and let's pick Wilder because we're going to Onslaught Compass and there are a lot of Zoribs there. So accuracy versus Wilders will be useful.
Hey. Hey! You awake? Good. You were kind of thrashing around, eyes rolled back in your head. You were shaking. Trying to snap you out of it for a long time now. I was gonna have to get a bucket of cold water. You don't seem like you get much rest at night. You got those dark circles under your eyes. Nice the Watcher thing, then. I'm sure it just takes some time to adjust is all. I'll try to let it sort itself out. But you'd better wake up faster next time. Trust me, you don't want that bucket of cold water.
Hail, traveler.
Ooh,
What?
let's. Okay, they are already near dead.
Yeah?
These two are like the most weakest kith in the whole world. They just die within seconds. I always find it really amusing.
What?
Like they barely lost a couple of seconds before they both end up dead. Yeah. See what I mean? One of them is already dead, even though I healed them just now.
Just say the word.
Not a problem.
Nice and quiet.
Okay, I think we found some good robes. I think I will just give that to Durans because this armor is really slowing down his casting. The armor is nice. We'll put a lot in it. Hmm, nothing there. Do this.
Hi?
Can chill fog. You are going to beat the crap out of them. Champions are a bit annoying. They're kind of. They have a lot of health, a lot of DR. So without console heart staff, our weapons just couldn't punch through his DR. Like 10 damage reduction, we will not be doing any damage. I mean, just look at this. Aloy hits for like 9 damage. Either hits for like yeah, 9 damage. Aloy will hit for 2 damage. So when you're fighting champions, it's just better to conjure a weapon. They will have a higher base damage and higher penetration. It's not like you cannot defeat a champion with your normal weapons. It just take a lot of time and you don't have the patience for it. At least at low levels. High levels you can easily punch through 10 DR, no problem. This gives us some really good items, especially soulbound items. Fulvanos, Blunderbuss. This is nice. 5% chance to cast Charm on hit or critical hit. This is really good because Blunderbuss shoots 6 projectiles. So each projectile has a 5% chance to cast Charm if you hit, and this is actually really good. If you have a rogue or a ranger, because rogues and rangers they have the highest accuracy, so they will have a lot more chances of landing a hit or critical hit, and therefore a lot more chances to trigger this enchantment. And it starts with exceptional, which is again really good. We should be able to. Oh, we need 8,000 copper, so we cannot buy it right now. But again, in the hands of a rogue or a ranger, this is actually good because charm is a very powerful debuff in this game. One-eyed. Now this was bugged the last time I played it. The game. I don't know if it's fixed or not. If it's fixed, then this is a really good weapon. There was a bug with this game where it takes forever to reload this Uh, and I don't know if it's fixed or not. We will see for when we'll test it out. So here is soulbound weapon. So soulbound weapons are like you have to bind this to a particular character and only they can use it, and they actually have kind of like requirements, and if you meet those requirements, like hit 10 people or do 300 damage or something like that, and every time you complete the target you get additional enchantment on the weapon. Soulbound weapons. So some of the best weapons, some of the best armor in the game are soulbound items. Armor, weapons, rings. There are a lot of really good soulbound items in this. And not every class can use every soulbound weapon. So if you see here, it says Chanter, Cipher, Druid, Ranger, Wizard. Only someone with any of these classes can use this weapon. So once you get a soulbound weapon, you have to bind it to a particular character, which means only they can get the benefits of all the enchantments and everything. And as you complete the prerequisites, the weapon just keeps getting better and better. And if this is fixed, then this will be the best arbalest in the game. That's because it starts with fine enchantment, which is whatever, and it has prone on hit, which is really good. 15% chance to cast prone on hit. This is actually really good. And if you give this to a ranger, rangers have ridiculous accuracy, which with the ranged weapons, especially with bows. So your ranger can constantly keep a target prone. And I, uh, I don't know whether the bug is fixed with this or not, but once we get that honey copper, we will buy this and we'll test it out. This is another nice saber, but I do not. If you have more than one frontline character, then this is going to get your frontline killed. Why? Because it has a 10% chance to cast Overwhelming Wave on hit or a critical hit. And what Overwhelming Wave does is it's a druid spell. Sorry, it's a druid spell actually, where it's a kind of a length spell. So basically, anybody in the area of effect will get stunned for 4 seconds, and this can cause friendly fire. And this gets triggered on a hit or a critical hit. So in every single encounter, your front line is going to get stunned. And if your front line is stunned, deflection, they get a massive minus 40 deflection or something. Stunned. No, minus 30, yeah. Minus 30 deflection, and they cannot move, they cannot take any actions, and they're going to get killed. So this is a powerful saber if you're playing solo, or if you have only one single character on the front line and everybody else is at the back with ranged weapons. In that case, this is really good because you can stun almost every enemy in front of you with this Overwhelming Wave enchantment. If you're casting this as a druid spell, you can aim it, but here you cannot aim it. It just triggers and it just goes forward from whatever character is wielding this, which means anybody who is near him is going to get stunned, including the rest of your front line. So I do not recommend if you have more than one frontline melee character, but otherwise it's a solid saber. Not the best saber, there are better sabers, but it's good. It's really good, especially if you are solo, playing as a solo, because Overwhelming Wave once per encounter is like druids do not get this spell until very high level. This is a not like a ninth level spell or something, but this is a decently high level spell, and you can cast this right as soon as you can purchase this. This is actually one of the best clubs here, War Club of the Mataru. I really like it. It's not the most powerful weapon, but it's if your character is built around using clubs, then this is the weapon you want to purchase. Hobble is not like that useful of an effect, but once you get this up, once you unlock all the soulbound upgrades for this becomes really powerful. If you have a character who is using clubs, then you will want get this. These are all fine, 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 fine. And here are a couple more soulbound weapon items. One is a belt. This is actually very useful if you have uh, anybody who has a lot of, if your character is focused on doing a lot of fire damage, then this is very useful, because right at beginning it gives you firebrand, which is again a druid spell. It conjures a weapon for 30 seconds. The weapon does burn damage, so it's really good. You can only cast this 3 times per rest, but that's more than enough for that. It lasts for 30 seconds. It's lasts a long time. And as you unlock this, you get more powerful fire spells. You get wizard one. I forgot its name, which does a lot of fire damage around you. So this is actually a very good belt, and it even gives some attribute bonuses as well. And almost every class can use this. Who cannot use this? Like almost everybody is here. So pretty much anybody can use this, I guess. This is actually a very good belt. It's not the, I cannot say this is the best belt, but if you, this is really good on a barbarian for the firebrand, because they can do carnage and this will do a lot of fire damage in a area of effect. This is a good belt. It has a lot. I think it will give you like +3 might or something once you upgrade. I do not remember the exact attribute bonuses that you will get, but once you have fully unlocked all the upgrades for this, is actually a very powerful belt. Well worth the 8,200 copper pieces. By endgame, you're going to have thousands and thousands of copper pieces, so you can easily purchase this. Company Captain's Cap. Again, this is also a good soulbound headgear. I believe this is this is more of a kind of a tanky headgear, because it gives a lot of defensive upgrades. But by endgame, we are going to have both of them. This will be our belt, this will be our headgear, and there are a couple more soulbound, not soulbound. Yeah, almost all your best gear is going to be soulbound items. By endgame, most of your components will have some kind of soulbound weapon, soulbound belt or armor or something. Soulbound weapons or gear is really great. So just keep a note of this when you actually get the money to purchase these things. Come and buy it. I suggest buying the soulbound items as fast as possible, because you have to satisfy a lot of conditions to be able to unlock all the upgrades, and thus faster you get it, the faster you can unlock all its full potential. Right now we cannot buy any of them, but we'll see. We'll come back to this later.
Gods keep you. If you see here, when Ranga said this dialogue, there is this benevolent one. So this dialogue, this is the reaction she gave based upon my disposition. So I have picked a couple of benevolent dialogue options, and I got 1 rank in benevolent disposition. So it's kind of like people reacting to your personality. If I have a different disposition, then she would have said something different. It's not that big of a deal. This is just, role playing.
Quick and quiet.
Okay, let's go. We have a lot of Zoribs to kill.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Some of these combat encounters really drags on, especially at later levels when you have huge mobs attacking you and the fights just drag and drag. It's okay. First, we have to cast Armor of the Faithful because there are going to be a lot of enemies attacking us soon.
How may I help?
Come on, quickly cast the spells. Oh, he already paralyzed me. Okay, nothing to do.
Ready when you are. Yes?
Okay, let's catch this as well. Either is going to die soon unless we do something. Let's make everybody prone. Okay, time to conjure the staff and beat the crap out of everybody.
How may I help?
Who do we have? I think we can. This guy doesn't have that high of a fortitude. Maybe we can. I think this Zorif can easily be killed by necrotic lance. Yeah, he's dead. I got my staff. We have a champion here. Let's kill him. All three of you attack him.
Hey.
You cast consecrated ground so that you get health back. And let's hit him with this. Right.
Just say the word.
You need to kill champions quick because they can do a lot of damage. And they have a really high armor rating. He has his lowest is will, but I think we can further reduce this by casting the minded miasma. Let's send Durance in so that his concentrated ground can hit this spell. Missed. So
Ready when you are.
that's just great.
Curses!
Yeah?
Not a problem.
Laying low.
Ready when you are.
There should be some hidden item here somewhere. Uh, Maybe my mechanics is not yet high enough. Okay. Holy Radiance. Durant's laugh is amazing.
Not a problem.
Laying low.
To blind them. Come forward. Okay, they're all blinded and they all got hit by Holy Radiance. So they're going to die soon. Always make sure you focus fire on the character with the lowest amount of health, because you want to delete their numbers as fast as possible. Don't spread out your party, like have each party attack a different enemy. That's going to take a lot of
Ready when
time.
you are.
You have to focus fire on specific enemies. Kill them as fast as possible.
Nothing will slip past me.
Nice and quiet. What?
How may I help?
Worth and Roth! Death to our enemies!
Not a problem.
Laying low.
Yeah?
Hello.
Okay, now we have to go and fight some spores. Spores, especially the big ones, have the ability to make you confused on hit. So potions of recovery is going to be helpful because it cuts down -4 duration and gives -20% duration on hostile effects. This is actually going to be useful. I don't think we can craft immunity from confused scrolls yet. They're against Restraint, hobbled or stuck. When can we do it? Prayer against people. Okay, we have to be level 7 for that. It's going to be a long while. We're probably going to get confused at
Not a
least
problem.
once, but that's fine. Let's rest, and we will want accuracy against primordials for fighting the.
And what does the flame reveal?
Now I don't recommend you just going blindly forward, because there are two big spores which can confuse your party on hit, and there are a lot of small sporelings and they hit like a truck. The bigger ones cannot do much damage, but they can confuse you, but the small ones will do a lot of damage. And if everybody goes in, the big ones are going to confuse your party and the small ones are going to beat the crap out of you. Okay, so don't rush in. Let's just send Aether, and let's just stand here. One of them will eventually walk this side and will aggro Aether. Yep. Now pull him back all the way to here, because the big ones cannot move, so
Moeth Ixian.
you will want to take them down slowly. Do not rush. Oh, I did not aggro the remaining ones.
That's it.
That's unfortunate. Okay, let's see if I can
Not a
aggro
problem.
them with my guy. Let's send him. Ooh. You guys attack him, you run back. Okay. You see here, it did a lot of damage. 26 crust. These things hit like a truck and they are immune to a whole list of status effects. Thankfully, they are not immune to blinded and prone, which are
Ready
the
when you are.
best crowd control we have right now. So we will use that.
What?
You can, let's have him cast blessing.
Yes.
You can cast chill folk to make them all blinded.
Moeth Ixian.
They're all prone. Okay, everybody attack this guy. We are going to go over here and cast ray of fire on this to kind of make
Lavaru beyond sea.
right.
You better run.
Ready when you are.
These spores are annoying. The big ones will charm you, the small ones will knock you
Not a
down.
problem.
Nothing will slip past me.
Only use them in combat. So what I suggest is,
Just say the word.
here these two can confuse on hit, so let's send Durans because he's immune to confusion. Okay, and let him cast blessing.
Moeth Ixian.
Ready when you are.
You cast chill fog here to blind them both. Everybody go and attack this guy.
What?
You can, yeah.
Ah, thank more than rock!
So we will cast Ray of Fire on this. Oh, I got confused. I got
What?
cocky and I got confused. It's okay. I don't have that much of this guy's weekend. That's why he's slow.
Navaru.
Moe
And he's dead.
Ana. What?
Slippery devil.
How much fortitude does he have? 76. Cannot paralyze him. He's going to die soon.
That's how it's done.
See, the big ones by themselves are really not that much of a threat. You can easily kill them. It's when you have small ones next to it, you know, the big ones will confuse you, small ones will knock you down, and then they will just gang up on you and kill you. So, once you kill the small ones, the big ones are they're a piece of cake. Once the small ones are dead. Ooh,
Just
I
say the
completely
word.
forgot about it. We could have used Holy Meditation. It gives plus 15 will, confuse target's will, so yeah, I should have remembered that. But
Just
okay.
say the word.
If you are having too much trouble
What?
with those, try using Holy Meditation on your team as well. That's 15 will. It will
Ready
help.
when you are.
It may not stop the confuse from taking effect, but it could make it a graze so that the confuse will not last long.
Hello. Hello.
She doesn't sell much. Oh, and you can, when you're interacting with any trader or innkeeper, you have the option to retrain your characters. So this is actually great. You cannot change the decisions made at level 1, like you cannot change your class, race, or anything, but from level 2 to level 16, you can retrain them. I think you can change your attribute bonuses at level 1 as well. I'm not sure. Let's test it. Let's save character
Hello.
and see if I could. I can change my attributes, but I cannot change my race and class. Okay, let's. Oh, and if you are going to retrain your wizard, just remember you are going to lose all the spells you have read. So your entire spell book
Ready
is
when you
going
are.
to be pretty much empty. You will not have any spells. Okay, so Wizard is the only one that gets severely affected when you retrain him, because you have to go and find the grimoires and learn the spells again, which
Not a
is,
problem.
I mean, if you plan ahead, you can easily retrain. Okay, now we have completed all the areas around here. We will go to Cadnua, but we'll not do Cadnua's quest yet because we are still not ready for that. But we have a companion, we can recruit him. We'll just recruit him and go back to Gilded Well. Okay. We have I think one more quest in Gilded Well that we can do, and it will bring us to level 5. We are almost halfway through level 4, and that quest can bring us to level 5, or at least put us close to level 5. That would be better. Here he is.
It is. Well, not the wall itself, perhaps. The construction is very traditional. There are names scratched upon some of the bricks. Just there. Workers and masons, I expect. Carving a little immortality for themselves. It's a fine keep, Cadnua. 2 centuries to its name, and abandoned for nearly as long. But the truly interesting part is in there, and I haven't had much luck in reaching the keep itself. I hoped to find the master of this place, a man by the name of Meerwald. But it seems that he either holds his privacy most dear, or else has been devoured by his house guests. Knowledge. Or, to be less clever about it, a certain text. I've come in search of a great treasure, you see. Not gold or silver, but the Tanvi Oratoa. You might call it the Book of Virtues. It's a sacred text of Rauatai, but we possess only a small fragment of it. A watcher? Oh, you've spoken with spirits? There are many questions I would ask if I could do the same. Excellent. Lead on, my friend, and I will be at your heels. Ah, wait. Speaking of that, I ought to warn you first. Wondrous teeth, I nearly forgot. I have, at times, been followed. It began in Adir, and in Exometal they attacked outright. I believe they do not wish for me to find what I am looking for. I say believe, but I have been told as much by one of my would-be assassins. I paid them little mind. Humorless sorts in long robes. But it's why I bought the sword, you see. And it's only fair that you should know. I'm glad you're not discouraged. Come then. Who knows what we will find inside?
Alright, we got our next companion,
Following your lead.
Kana Rua. Kana. He is a chanter. So chanters are basically, if you have played previous any Dungeons and Dragons game or old Infinity Engines games, then you would know bots. So chanter is basically Pillar's version of a bot. So Kana kind of is a party buffer. He can debuff enemies. He can summon creatures. He can do damage. He is actually, chanters are really powerful. He has very good might, very good intelligence, decent perception. He has bad dexterity, but it doesn't matter because the chanters the songs the chanter sings, they are not affected by dexterity at all. So dex is whatever, it doesn't really matter. He has 10 resolve, which is fine. We don't care about resolve. And what does he have? He has, come on. Okay, so let me explain about how chanters work. So chanters have something called phrases. Okay, if you will have edit chants button here, you click on it, there will be a list of phrases that he can sing. These are the songs that uh, Kana can sing, and each song will provide some kind of buff to the party or a debuff to the enemies. For example, this one, At the Sight of Comrades, it gives plus 10 fortitude and plus 10 will. It has a duration of 4 seconds and linger of 2.8 seconds. What does it mean is, it takes 4 seconds for him to sing this song, and in those 4 seconds everybody in the party will have plus 10 fortitude and plus 10 will. And because of his high intellect, it actually lingers for 2.8 seconds, which means once Kana stops singing that song, this effect of plus 10 fortitude plus 10 will still be in effect for another 2.8 seconds after Kana sings the song. For example, uh, and here we have prepared chants. You string a bunch of phrases and you will get a chant, basically a song kind of a thing. And Chana will keep singing this chant again and again in the battle, continuously refreshing the effects. Now I can add the phrases to the chant here. If you see, I have added this phrase, and you can see two areas here, a dark green one and a light green one. The dark green one is the time takes to sing this chant, which is the 4 seconds of duration. And this is the linger, means this is the duration for which the chant will be in effect even though he stopped singing this. And you can add the same chant again and again. So if you see, he sings it for 10 seconds, he will stop singing this and he will pick up the second song and he will sing it for 4 seconds and then he will sing this and sing this. So you can string multiple effects like this. And we have one more phrase here which gives all the party some movement speed and some reflex. So if you add it like this, first Kana will sing this chant for 4 seconds and everybody will get 10 will and 10 fortitude and 10 will. Then once this 4 seconds is done, Kana will start singing this. This will give everybody movement speed and reflex. But if you see, this is the linger of the first phrase. So what happens is, from here to here, this will be in effect and this will also be in effect, which means during this window of 2.8 seconds, everybody will be affected by both chants, all our enemies, so all our allies. So our entire party will get 10 fortitude, 10 will, 10 reflex, and some 0.5 movement speed or something, 0.2 movement speed. Okay, and then you can add one more chant here. As you can see, Kana will sing this and then he will stop singing this at this point and start singing this, but this will linger again for a while. So like this you can put multiple phrases and chants, and this will, right now we have only two phrases, both of them buffs, but you can actually add phrases which will, kind of give debuffs to enemies. So let's, and every time Chana completes singing one phrase of the chant, which means he sang this, it is 4 seconds. Okay, this duration of 4 seconds. So he sang for 4 seconds here. This phrase is over. Then he will gain one phrase point. Let's think of this as a renewable resource. Okay, and if once Chana has sang a specific number of phrases, he can use those phrases to cast some kind of spells. For example, at level 1, he has this called if their bones still slept. Okay, ignore this ridiculous names because all chanters, spells, and phrases have kind of names that sound like songs and poems. But what this does is basically summons 3 human skeletons for you that will fight on your side. And it lasts for 20 seconds. And if you see, it requires 3 phrases chanted, which means once Kana chants 3 phrases, any 3 phrases, it doesn't matter big or small. If he chants any 3 phrases, then he will be able to summon these skeletons. Okay, and the 3 phrases will be gone. Like the counter will come to 0, and he will, if he have to cast one more spell, he will have to start chanting his phrases again and again. So basically what happens is when Kana is singing a chant, okay, this is the chant we just created, the 2 phrases. He will keep chanting this, and if you see the area of effect that's coming around, anybody in this area of effect will have the passive effects from the phrases. And once he has sang 3 phrases, he can kind of summon the skeletons, and he can, basically, even when chanters are not casting spells, they are kind of casting spell-like abilities. And this makes chanters really powerful because they are never ideal. Okay, they are never ideal. And this is also one of the reasons why Kana doesn't really care about dexterity, because your phrase duration doesn't really depend on dexterity. It doesn't matter whether you have 0 dexterity or 20 dexterity. If first level 1 phrase is going to take 4 seconds to sing, he's not going to sing faster if you have high dexterity. And because of this, chanters can dump dexterity and focus completely on might, intellect, and perception is not really needed unless you're going for offensive spells and phrases. But the chanter offensive spells and phrases are really not that. They are decent at low levels, but high levels they're not that great. So chanters, if you're making your own chanter, go full on intellect and some decent mind. And chanters actually have decent starting deflection, so they have a 25 base deflection, whereas your fighters have 30 base, so they are just 5 points below a fighter. Whereas your wizards, they have like 10 deflection, which is horrible. So chanters have decent deflection. So if you are building a chanter yourself, you can bump up his intellect, his perception, and his resolve, and give him a weapon and a shield, and just send him inside. He will keep chanting phrases which is going to debuff all the enemies around him, and he can keep summoning creatures to fight the enemies. He can keep summoning a lot of he gets some really powerful summons. So this makes chanters not only very easy to build characters, but perception, intellect, and resolve are the attributes that affect all dialogue choices. So if you build a chanter, you can ignore might, constitution, and dexterity, and you can just ignore means I do not mean dump completely. Dexterity you can dump as much as you want, but might and constitution I suggest you leave at least 10, not less than 10, and focus completely on perception, intelligence, and resolve, and you can make a very tanky chanter who is going to continuously debuff all the enemies, buff all your allies, and keep summoning creature after creature that is going to wreak havoc. Your damage is not going to come from your weapon attacks or from your spells. They are going to come from your summons, because chanters are the best summoners in the game. Wizard has summons, druid has summons, and they're all crap. But chanter summons are really, really powerful. I will just show that in a minute. By end game, you will be summoning dragons to fight for you. That's how powerful chanters are. I really love how chanters are built in this game. Normally, when you're building a bard in any game, I don't really like bards in games like Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter's Night. Like, I don't really like how bards play in those games, but chanter in this is really good, and he can be really powerful, and he can go full on the mental attributes. These three means you will be unlocking pretty much any attribute based dialogue option in the game. If you are building a tanky chanter, you can safely ignore resolve and bump might and make a more offensive chanter. Even that's fine. But these are chanters are really awesome. Okay, but Kana doesn't have good starting summon. He summons human skeletons, which are garbage. If you are building a chanter yourself, do not get this. Okay, we'll be respecting Kana and get rid of this spell, but I'm just going to level up something. I'm not going to really care because we're going to take him to a tavern and respec him just within a couple of within a minute. So I'm just picking whatever here. Don't follow this. We will respec him soon. Okay. Completely ignore what I'm doing here because I'm randomly picking up. I'm not even looking at what I'm picking. Okay. So Kana actually comes with a heavy armor. I suggest you take this off and give this to either has medium armor. And can we enchant this? Yeah, we can enchant this. And because chanters do not care about attack speed, they can wear the heaviest of armors and still be just as effective as if they are wearing robes. It doesn't change anything about them. This is one of the things I really love about chanters. You can put them in the tankiest of armors, give them the biggest of shields, because shields have massive accuracy penalties, like 8 -8 accuracy if you're having a large shield. Chanters doesn't care about that at all. I mean, if you're casting some offensive spells, there are a couple of decent offensive uh, spells chanters can cast. Those will get affected by lack of accuracy, but it doesn't really matter. You don't need accuracy to summon creatures. You don't need accuracy to buff up your party, and you have wizards to debuff. Okay, if if you want to debuff or damage with your chanter, you will need some accuracy. Okay, these can be really tanky. So we are going to build Kana as a second line melee attacker. Okay, and we are going to give Jurance's fire staff to Kana because Kana is not optimally created and he will die very fast if we put him in melee. He will die really fast if he engages directly in melee because we can make him as a sword and shield character. Can actually give him a shield and maybe a spear. Is something like this. Yeah, we can definitely build him as a sword and shield character. Yeah, let's do that. Let's build him as a yeah. Okay, let's keep both. We will switch from back second line to tanking based upon the situation. Okay, let's give both of them to him. We will.
Ready when you are.
Let's pull him to
Following your
the
lead.
And one more thing about Kana is since his buffs and his weapon attacks doesn't really matter, we can safely ignore survival skill on Kana, and he starts with +1 to mechanics, so he can be our lockpicker and trap disarming guy if we want. He starts with +1 mechanics, and we can further pump on them because he starts with a very high lore, but we don't really care for lore on Kana because he's not going to affect dialogues, and we already have our wizard and Durance, both of them with a lot of lore, so we don't really care about that either. So Kana, like,
Yes?
he need athletics. He doesn't care about survival. Doesn't affect his phrases. We don't really care about lore on Kana because we already have Durance, and stealth is not really useful. So once you get 7 athletics, there is not really much Kana can invest in. So we can go full on into mechanics here. Unlike rogues or ciphers who get much bigger boost to mechanics. Okay, but chanters can safely ignore it because because rogues and ciphers, those guys, they depend on weapon attacks, so the accuracy bonuses from survival will be actually useful to them. So while rogues have really starting high mechanics, I don't like putting mechanics on my rogues or ciphers. I like high survival on them to give them further boost to damage or accuracy, and put mechanics on someone like a wizard or a chanter who doesn't really care about the accuracy buffs from survival. So Kana is going to be our main mechanics guy for this playthrough.
Not a problem.
Let's go and quickly retrain him,
Hail
and
and well met.
let's retrain him. Kana. All right. So we're going to get 3 athletics. We need at least 7 athletics, and the rest all is going to go into mechanics. So we're going to build these 3 equally until we get to 7 athletics, and then we're going to go full on into mechanics. Next. Okay. In the first level chants, invocations. The invocations are basically spells that you will be casting. Okay, there are a lot of spells here, invocations. The one I recommend is this one, Rainy Darrett's Ghost. What this does is this summons a phantom. It requires 3 phrases chanted. So at first level, each phrase is like 4 seconds. So it takes 12 seconds to sing 3 phrases. So once 12 seconds of combat has passed, Kana will be able to summon Phantom, and Phantoms are overpowered because Phantoms do freeze damage, which is not, at least at low levels, enemies doesn't have much elemental defenses, okay, armor, so it's going to do decent damage by itself. Point number 2, phantoms can do sneak attack like rogues, which means if we have some status effect on an enemy, which we will always have because our wizards are continuously blinding and knocking them down. So this phantom is always going to do sneak attack, which will do really good damage. And third, and most important of all, phantoms can stun your enemy on hit. Repeat, they can stun your enemy on hit, which means this phantom is going to, it is really good at locking down, stun locking a single enemy and beating the crap out of him. And remember, stun triggers sneak attack. So phantom hits someone, he gets stunned. Phantom hits him again. Phantom gets bonus to freeze damage because of the sneak attack, and he's going to stun the target again because of the initial stun, his deflection has gone down. So now it's much more easier to hit him and stun him again and again and again. A phantom can completely stun lock a single enemy, even some really powerful enemies. Unless that enemy is immune to stun, phantom is going to wreck that enemy. Okay, that's why phantom is hands down the best summon at level 1. Well, here level 2 because we are respecing Kana, but if you are making a chanter yourself, the first invocation you should be picking up is Phantom. Trust me, this will make a lot of early level encounters really easy. Phantom is the best summon until by mid game when you're summoning something like ogres or dragons. Until then, Phantom is going to be your go-to summon. This is really powerful. Okay, there are a couple of other decent this invocation. It kind of gives -5 DR to enemies, which reduces their armor. Doesn't really matter. Or it increases our party's armor. This +5 damage against slash, +10 shock armor. Okay, these are all like at early levels. Remember, this doesn't stack with priest's armor of the fate. Okay, armor of the fate gives +4 DR. This gives +5 DR against slash alone. And +10 DR against shock. Shock doesn't really matter. There are not that many enemies that do shock damage. This is really doesn't matter. This is mainly for +5 damage reduction against slash. And if you are facing an encounter where you need buffed up damage resistance against slash, you are going to have your priest class cast armor of the faith. So this you are never going to cast. This is a decent invocation. So its average speed, it does low damage doesn't really matter. It push means it kind of knocks enemies back, doesn't knock them down, it doesn't reduce their defenses or anything, it just pushes them back. So if Kana gets mobbed, he can use this and push them back. And most importantly, it stuns. Stun is a very powerful debuff. Okay, it stuns for 7 seconds. This is actually really good, the stun effect. The only problem with this is it's a very small cone. Only like you can barely hit a couple of characters that are standing directly in front of you. So it's not going to hit a lot of. This is not like a wizard's spell like a prone or a fan of flames where it will hit the whole screen. No, this is going to hit maybe a couple of enemies. But this is foe only, which means this doesn't do friendly fire, so you can safely fire this into your front line. So you don't have to worry about stunning either. You can just use it. But the very low length with kind of a shorter duration, it's nice when you have phrases to cast, but there are much better spells. Like this is decent because stun, you will not be able to get decent stun spell until mid game. Once we get our who's that guy, I forgot, our druid companion who can cast AoE lightning spells. That until then, your best source of stun is going to be this or summoning the phantom. And honestly, summoning the phantom is better because this can stun hit after hit. It can just keep stunning again and again, whereas this is just once, and it's against fortitude. Fortitude is, a lot of enemies have very high fortitude, so this is whatever. It's decent, but if I have 3 phrases chanted, I'm going to summon phantom because phantom lost 12 seconds, and guess what, it takes 12 seconds for you to chant 3 phrases, which means the moment phantom is going to be desummoned, you will have your 3 phases back and you're going to summon another phantom, and by the time these 12 seconds are over, you will get again another 3 chants exactly just as your phantom disappears. So you're going to resummon it again and again and again. Early to mid game, all your chants, all your phrases are going to be used up by summoning phantoms, so you're not going to use this much. Once you get summon phantom, the rest of the level 1 invocations doesn't really matter. Again, this is other garbage invocation. It does very mediocre shock damage in a cone. I mean, 14 to 21 shock. A phantom can do this much damage in a single hit easily without sneak attack. Okay, and it can stun on top of that low. So I don't know why you would waste 3 phrases. Why you wait 12 seconds just so that you can do some garbage shock damage to a bunch of enemies. I don't. Now this White Worm's Wraith, this is actually a decent invocation. So what it does is, it has a very good length and radius of a core, so it can hit quite a few enemies, and it doesn't directly hit enemies. What it does is it hits dead enemies. So if you have a bunch of enemies standing there and 3 of them are dead, you cast this, all 3 dead bodies are going to explode, and kind of basically all those 3 dead bodies are going to explode and do this crush damage to everybody around that body. So if you have, like, when you're fighting a enemy combat encounter where you have like a dozen enemies are attacking you, half of them are dead, and you cast this spell, you're going to one shot everybody else. All the surviving enemies are going to get one shot. But that is a very specific scenario where you can use it. You're not going to use this against 1 or 2 enemies. When you have like 10 enemies attacking you and you manage to kill 5 of them, then you cast this spell, this is going to do ridiculous amounts of damage. It does really good damage, but it's very situational. So, like, summon phantom, this is what you want. If okay, once you have taken summon phantom, you may think about getting this stunned or the dead worms, whatever, but summon phantom, get this, and you will thank me for it. Okay, talents. Chanters get a unique talent called Ancient Memory, which is kind of like fighters constant recovery, which will constantly keep regenerating endurance. The thing is, fighters constant recovery affects fighter alone. This affects everybody in this area of effect. The area of effect is not that big, so basically if only close to Kana will get affected. So having ancient memory, if you are making a ranged chanter who is going to stand at the back and attack with ranged weapons, this is not really useful. But if you are making a melee chanter, then this is really good at keeping your front lines alive. This is not going to heal your front line back to health. Okay, the heal here is very small. If you see here, right, +2 base, and you get extra +1 every 3 levels. So like level 4 you will get +1, level 7 another +1. So the heal is not that great. It gets buffed by might, but it's not that great. The duration is very long. But this, if a dragon is breathing down, like an Alphen dragon or Adder dragon is going to breathe, use their breath attack, this is not going to save your front line. Okay, they are going to die unless they make the reflex saving throw, and they have high defenses. But if you have like a dozen Zoribs beating down on Aether, this combined with constant recovery will make sure Aether will survive the fight. So this is very useful when you're getting hit by a lot of small tiny attacks. Against a big boss like a dragon or something, this is not really going to do anything. But you don't have to go and actively cast this spell. This is something passive that will be happening as long as you're chanting. And guess what? You are going to be chanting. You're always chanting. If you're a chanter, you're chanting. If you're not chanting, you're just a very bad fighter. So okay, you're always going to be chanting. So this is going to be very useful. It will help in increasing your frontline survival. Completely ignore it if you're making a ranged chanter. Not really worth it. Okay, now we're going to put 3 points in mechanics. Let's bump that up. Alright, we are getting our phrases. So remember, phrases are these kind of passive buffs or debuffs that your chanter is going to continuously sing. He'll be singing this while he's attacking, he'll be singing this while he's drinking consumables, he'll be singing when he's moving through a combat. And let's see, this one, it reduces enemies damage slash and pierce by 10%. So anybody within the area of effect will have -10% slash and pierce damage, which is garbage, because enemies hitting you for 20 damage, -10% is you will take 2 less damage. Okay, big whoop. Like this damage can easily be mitigated by simply casting a Arbor of Fate. I don't really think this is worth it. This is actually decent. In area of effect, it gives -10 concentration to all the enemies, which means any party member with high perception will be able to interrupt that enemy much more easily. And guess what? We are building our wizard as an interrupt wizard. We have a very high perception, and we will by mid game pick up a couple of talents which will further buff our interrupt. So this is going to be a decent phrase to sing. Not right now at level 1. We don't want to waste our time with this. Maybe like sometimes if we really want to debuff enemy concentration, we can start chanting this phrase. It's not super useful, but it's decent. This is the first level phrase that you want. Come, soft winds of death. It constantly does endurance damage to any enemy around chanter. Now the damage is not that great, but this happens every second. So -2.4 damage per 3 seconds. That's 0.8 endurance. So you can think of it as 1 point of the endurance damage every second. It's not much, but you are going to hit all the enemies around you, and you're going to hit this again and again. So in prolonged encounters, this, or when you have a lot of enemies surrounding you, this actually adds up. So until there is a similar phrase that you will get much later, where you're going to be doing burn damage and slash damage to all the enemies around you. Until you get that, this is the phrase you are going to be singing, okay, constantly, because this damage is really useful at low to mid levels, and phrases like this are the reasons why chanters can be decent damage dealers even though they do not have dexterity. You can complete a dump dexterity and still do like very good damage because of phrases like this. You will continuously be doing this dot damage on all the enemies around you, and none of this duration is affected by dexterity. It doesn't matter 8 dexterity or 20 dexterity. You are going to do this damage over 3 seconds, and it's going to take you 4 seconds to sing this chant. Okay, so this is very powerful. At level 1, this is very powerful. And by mid game, this stops becoming powerful, but you will get better offensive phrases by then. Okay, so if at level 1, if you're making a chanter, then this is the phrase I suggest you pick at level 1. Phrase of Soft Wings of Death and invocation is Summon Phantom. Those are the two things you want at level 1. That's going to make most of your early encounters quite easy. Okay, let's get some more mechanics here. Next, we just spoke about this. None of this really matters. Just take the stun, even though I will never use it. Now we have an upgrade to our ancient memory, which will kind of slightly improves the amount of endurance heal you will do. It's decent, but we are trying to build him as a frontliner, so we will ignore this for now and come here and pick up weapon and shield style so that he will have better defenses. Okay, and done. Okay,
Following your lead.
now let's edit his chants. We don't want this fortitude reflex. This is completely garbage. We don't want them. We are just going to sing about death for a long time. It's just going to be death. Okay, because we want to kind of stack all this. Because if you see, if you start chanting this up to here, he will chant this, and then he will go to second chant, but this linger is going to still be here. The thing is, these things stack with themselves. So see, it says minus 2.4 endurance. During this period, this is going to be minus 4.8 endurance, not minus 2.4, because this and this will stack. So these things will just keep stacking one on top of the other, and they will start doing like very, very decent damage. And remember, this is passive damage. While you are doing this damage with your phrases, you are still going to be hitting them with your weapons. You're still going to be casting spells. You're still going to be casting invocations, summoning phantoms, all those things. So that's why I say chanters are very useful. And make sure that you enable this chant button. Okay, if you don't enable this, he's not going to sing any chants. So make sure this is always enabled, no matter what. And if you right click, you will be able to see what are the phrases he's singing. Right now we are just singing about death continuously. Okay.
Yeah?
Right. Let's see what his defenses are. 52 deflection, not bad, not good either, but not bad. We will buff this up. We need to get some good shield for him though. A big shield. So we will be having him wield staff and stand in the back line, but should he get mobbed by a bunch of enemies and his health start going down, then we can shift to weapon and shield. We will see how it goes.
Ready when you are.
I normally play as a ranged chanter, so we'll see how melee chanter works, if it works.
Gods keep you.
Okay, let's take a nap. Get some perception mechanics bonus.
Not a problem.
Well met, friend.
Okay. All
Just
right.
say the word.
I think we completed most of the side quests that we can do right now. There is only
Not a
one
problem.
area left unexplored, which is the Temple of Ayathas, and I think we are ready to do this. I do not suggest doing that before recruiting Kana on your level 4, but right now we have 5 member party, and we are level 4, and we are in a decent place to go and do it. We may need to get one more camping supply though first, so let's do that.
Hello.
Okay, I think we have already played for 2 hours, so let's just stop here for now. And in our next session, we will complete the Temple of Eothas, and then we'll move on to Cadnua and do Cadnua as well. Alright, everyone. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you feel about the video. Comment down, like the video if you like it. I'll see you guys again next week.